Okay, so I think the last time I was here, we were talking about synthetic life and something Pyro was talking about. I still didn't look up the TED video, but I was wondering exactly what are we talking about when we talk about synthetic life?
Which TED video was it? I don't remember them doing virtual
Well, I
reality
don't
or
remember. I didn't watch it.
synthetic life. Oh, synthetic life. Yeah, that's a whole different subject. That wasn't. Yeah, that was just this stupid thing where they've, uh, they made synthetic DNA. So they, made a computer program generate a DNA code, a sequence that was randomized in a sense. So that, I mean, it followed certain rules of what a, a chromosome has to look like, but it changed completely from whatever the original organism. There was no organism that was the explicit blueprint for the chromosome, and then they grew it in a bunch of yeast or whatever, and then they transferred this DNA sequence that they made in a computer into the shell of a microbe, and it survived and reproduced consistent with the new DNA. So that's what so they've just made a DNA molecule. They didn't make a reproducing cell, they just made a molecule of DNA that
The fuck are you
survived
talking
in
about?
a living cell. I'm talking about a TED video about synthetic life. It was advertised as synthetic life. Obviously, it's not a synthetic life form, it's just a synthetic piece of a life form. Part of the life form was synthetic DNA.
But see, for some reason, whenever I hear the word synthetic and the way the whole conversation was framed, I was thinking that it was an existential life form. Because, like you said earlier, it was randomized, which is basically the same thing as saying it was humanized, like the way we are, the way we exist. So it was pretty much like they were duplicating our existence, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Where's all this shit coming from? It just sounded a little bit daffy that we'd already gotten to AI experience, AI technology, and it wasn't a big deal on the news headlines. Like I saw nothing on MSNBC or any shit like that.
Yeah, well, they had way oversold it. These scientists who announced this just way overstated what they had accomplished. It's great science, but it was just way overdone. Way overstated. I guess he was, but I think Dusty got him. Yeah, dream things are tricky, boy. So I had a really good dream. I really pwned the modern mystic in my dream in a French restaurant. It was really kind of cool. But the real hang up was is the owner of the restaurant started humping my leg. And it was just so fucking weird. I was just like, what is this French guy doing humping my leg? You know? It's like that was the only sexual component in the fucking dream, and it was just too fucking weird.
Was the modern mystic like actually there and like sitting across from you at a table?
Sitting and I was standing, So and this, Mrs. Mystic was there, and she was like she was like 10 years younger, long dark hair, just in case you're curious, you know. But yeah, it was just hilarious. I was just going at him like on this all this economic stuff and just making all these great points in a restaurant. It was just so strange, and he's just eating his dinner, and I'm just crucifying him.
So he's like just eating his dinner, just sitting there like, while you're sitting there like going up on a rage on him. He's just like, whatever, Gary.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, but everybody was like, everybody at the restaurant knew I was just killing him, though. They were all like, "Oh, I'm just crucifying him." He's just looking so stupid and fucktarded, and so he was still being like pretending he was, he was still able to hold his head up. But yeah, I was humiliating him in his home restaurant. ooh, zombie is letting her
What's
hair
the deal?
down.
Did you used
Looks
to
like
really
some kind
like
of
agree with
50s
him?
bouffanty thing or something. That was kind of funny. Yeah. Look like he had a
No
big
way.
head.
It totally works.
Yeah, well, it works. It's just gotta face it, you know. A lot of stuff will work.
Like Cousinette mixed with Weird Al.
She's got that big Norse nose that's just too fucking cute.
Who the hell is that guy?
That's math. That's math fails. No, that's old hacks.
Definitely not math fails.
Old hacks.
I'm not wearing
I
panties.
still laugh.
I
I went by his channel the other day, and you know I saw the little icon of him with the cat. That's such a funny video.
Jarvis is a great prop. It's true.
Yeah, it really was a great. It's like, oh, that's like a fake movie cat or something.
Yeah. Movie cat. You hear that, Jarvis? Famous.
Hey, Garrett, do your dreams normally act that realistic, or are they only every once in a while that realistic?
Yeah, no, they're all good. I mean, you know, the bad side is that if you have a nightmare, it's really realistic, and you're like exhausted when you're done. It's like, you know. So I have a lot of those, like where you're stuck in New York and you can't get out of New York, and you're like, you have to get out of a building, you have to go through the air vents to get out of the building, and oh, just all this horrible shit you gotta go through. You know, it's like, yo. And you know, so those are like really horrible dreams because they seem like they last forever, and your legs get cut off, and you're crawling, and I mean, it's just, you know, and your guts are falling behind, and you're like, oh shit, I have to go back and get my guts. You know, you're gathering your guts up on your arm, and then you have to go back again, and oh, it's just, you know. But yeah, but when they're good, they're like really good. You know, a lot better than real life, that's for sure.
Do you ever write down any of your dreams at all?
Yeah, people, I mean, they say you should do that shit, but I'm just not. I mean, I've tried it. You know, I've got some papers where I used to do it for a while, and I took some notes, but you know, you write too slow. You know, and so by the time you start writing something, you start losing the dream.
Yeah,
You
I just
know,
what I
and then
kind
even
of
then when you try to even talk it, you sometimes do the same thing, and it's like you lose a piece of it, and so it's really a weird thing. It's hard to figure out the perfect way to do it because obviously, you know, you lose it with time. You lose these little details that are kind of important.
Yeah, I was never so much interested in like writing down like the narrative of my dream. I was more interested in like the point I was making within the dream and the idea that I had, rather than like some weird Freudian psychoanalytic garbage.
What interests me is trying to get to, you know, sometimes the parts of the dream that are just so unrealistic, and you're saying, how did I fall into that? How did I believe it? You know, because I'll have decapitated heads that are talking to me in my dream, and it just fascinates me that somehow I'm able to believe it. I mean, I'm able to just go along with that. You know, like that's possible. I mean, I've been decapitated, and I'm still, you know, a person. And it's like you're saying, how can I believe that I could survive being decapitated?
Yeah, you're just God. You keep getting back up every single time.
Yeah, well, there is that suspended disbeliefy thing, or what? I mean, that suspension of rationality. But you're still rational. I mean, if somebody asked you to multiply 2 plus 2, it's still 4. But there's these huge. I mean, there's gigantic plot flaws in the dream, and somehow you don't notice them. I mean, they're just totally acceptable, and that part's just so fascinating to me. Is